In this video, we're going to be talking about another evidence or proof for the existence of God. And in this video, I want to talk about order and design. If anyone asks you, how do you know God exists? Or what evidence do you have that God exists? You say order and design. I remember I talked to an atheist once, and I was about to leave, and she asked me, hey, what proof do you have of God? I mean, you always talk about God. Do you have any proof for him? And I said, sure, there's lots of proof, but I'm kind of on my way out. And she's like, just give me the 2-minute version. So I said, okay. And I said, here's God in 2 minutes. And I said, I believe in God because of the order and design. I said, look at the universe. It's ordered and it's designed. What does that mean? So for example, if you're walking down the beach and you see a huge heart drawn into the sand and it says, Johnny loves Susie, and it has a heart with an arrow going through it and it says XOXOXO. I said, do you actually think that the waves came up and made that? I was like, according to atheists, it could possibly just happen by accident. The waves come up, and when it goes back down, there's English words inside of a heart. I said, but of course, we recognize with our intelligence that a higher intelligence, another human being, made that. Perhaps two human beings who were in love made that in the sand. It wasn't a random chance because we recognize the order and the design of it. Likewise, if you go through South Dakota and you see a lot of formations in the mountains, and some may even look like this, some may look like that, but then you come across 4 American presidents' faces in the side of the mountain, you say that is not a random occurrence of chance. That didn't just happen over millions of years by rain and wind and erosion and lots of time. Yeah, it just happened all by accident. It came about. No, we recognize the order, the patterns, the design, and we know that a human being, a higher intelligence, made that and spent the greater part of their life carving it out of the side of the mountain. Likewise, when you look at the universe, and the whole universe works together perfectly to bring about life. It is ordered and it is designed. For example, if you look at gravity, I mean, everything, literally everything in the universe has to be perfect to bring about life. And there are millions and millions and billions, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of things that would have all had to come about by chance from nothing, because of nothing, or it was just all there, it just happened with no explanation. No, we don't believe that the universe came about by trillions and trillions and trillions of impossible chances or very, very improbable chances that lead to virtual impossibility. We believe it came about by a higher power. I mean, if you look at helium, has to be perfect. Hydrogen can't be more or less. Oxygen. If you look at the electromagnetism in the universe, if you look at the universal constants, if you look at the elliptical orbit, if you look at the nuclear force, weak and strong, I mean, everything literally has to be perfect. Look at the DNA strand of human beings. They're more complex than a car. They're more complex than any supercomputer that we can even invent on the face of this earth. Richard Dawkins, who's a famous atheist, said there's a 1 in 1 billion chance that evolution came about naturally by chance. But of course, that's not actually accurate. He says it's 1 in 1 billion, which would look like this. In reality, the chances actually look like this. So what atheists and agnostics don't consider when they just say, oh, it just came about. Everything just happened. It was just there forever. No explanation. Or it happened over millions and millions or even billions and billions of years. Richard Dawkins says it happened, inch by inch over millions of years. But in reality, the probability of that is literally impossible because what they don't take into consideration, people like Richard Dawkins, is the complexity of the matter, the number of steps that are needed, and the time that's absolutely needed. It's virtually impossible to get it with the time that we've had since the point of the Big Bang. People used to think that the universe was eternal. It was just went back indefinitely forever and ever and ever until the Big Bang came, and we realized that everything started at a singularity, at a moment when time, matter, space, energy all came into existence at that one point. Perhaps it goes back farther than that, but it can't go back indefinitely for infinity with an infinite amount of days or time, because then there would always be an infinite amount of time before today, and we would never reach today, but we're here at today, so there can't be an infinite amount of time. Make sense? Other things that people don't consider are just proteins and amino acids and everything that needs to make up DNA. Here's what the probability of getting a protein is by chance. It's far more than Richard Dawkins' 1,000,000,000 to 1 for all of life, okay? Here's what it is. And here's what the probability of getting DNA by accident, by random chance and probability is. And this is nothing compared to talk about the things that are made in the universe, the probability of getting helium accidentally, or hydrogen, or oxygen, or electromagnetism, or gravity, or any of the universal forces, or anything else. I mean, there's just billions of things that are virtually impossible, if not impossible. I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, given enough time and chance, anything happens. Everything can happen. Really? No, everything can't happen. And if everything is possible, according to atheists, then God is possible. But we say, and this is what I told that atheist girl, I said, when we look out into the universe and see all that complexity, we don't believe that everything came about by accident, by random chance. I mean, Bill Gates can't even create a supercomputer that's as complex as our DNA. And when you look at computers and how they're made, he doesn't just throw them into the middle of the yard, and he doesn't just throw all the pieces out there and leave them there for years and years and hope they self-assemble. I said, no. When you look at order and design, something that's complex, and there's something that made it. When you look at computers, someone designed it. Time machines don't exist right now, but they may in the future. What's more probable or reasonable to believe? That a time machine's just going to pop into existence by itself from nothing? Or people with intelligence who have the ability to create time machines will make one? For me, it's infinitely more reasonable to believe that people with intelligence will make a time machine, and that it's not just going to happen by accident. Same thing with the universe too. Things don't just pop into the blue, and dead stuff doesn't do anything. And I told this girl that, and I said, listen, if you take the watch off your hand and take off all the pieces, and you drop all those pieces into a box, and you shake that box good and well, and you dump them all out, are you ever going to get the watch again? And she said, no. I said, what are you going to get? And she said, a mess? I said, yeah, you're going to get a mess. And I said, if you leave those pieces there, they're not going to do anything. You could even have the simplest piece of the watch, but it's not going to create other pieces because it's dead. It can't move. It can't self-assemble. By definition, scientifically, dead stuff doesn't do anything because it's dead. So I said there absolutely had to be someone who was not dead in the beginning, who is existence itself and can give existence to everything else. This being who is intelligent and has the power and capacity and actuality to be able to move, to organize, to create, and to make everything we know. Otherwise, we're saying that it all just came about by accident. Dead stuff made itself, dead stuff made everything else, and dead stuff made everything we know, even though it's purely potential material and it's impossible for that to happen. But that'll be another video for another day. Go home tonight if you want and flip a quarter 50 times. Just 50 times on heads. There is a 1 in 1,000,000 billion chance, 1,000,000 billion chance that you could flip a quarter 50 times. In other words, it will never happen. And that's only 50 times. And now imagine trying to get Hamlet just by accident. That's far more than 50 times to get all the letters of Hamlet. Not to mention DNA strands, which are hundreds of thousands and up to billions of characters long just to get a single human DNA strand. The first unevolved DNA strand was incredibly complex with thousands and thousands and thousands of characters needed. And we're just talking about 1 in 50 for a coin toss. And now you look at the rest of the universe, and it's mind-boggling just the probability that you would need for it all to come out by accident. And yet atheists prefer just to say, oh, it could have happened. Oh, it could have happened. It's just a random accident. No, for me, it's infinitely more reasonable, logical to believe that a higher intelligence who could make this did. For example, if you saw a long board, it was about 10 miles wide, and it's 100 million miles high. It goes all the way up into the sky. And there are about 1 billion, maybe 10 billion dials on it, and each dial has hundreds of knobs that it could be turned to. Hundreds, just on one, and there's billions of them. If you look at that from space, and each one of them is perfectly in tuned to the right settings to bring about life, do we just say, oh yeah, that just happened by chance? Cause and effect. There's no cause. It just happened. No, for me, it's much more likely, reasonable, and logical to say, no, someone who's intelligent set that up. If all of them are perfect, well, how and why are they perfect? Well, because someone set them that way. Now, this doesn't prove that who God is or his attributes or anything else. It's just showing that there has to be someone who's alive to make everything, a higher intelligence, a higher being, existence itself, and it couldn't have been made by nothing, from nothing, because of nothing, or rather it was just there and dead stuff made everything. That doesn't make sense. If you like this video, please put a comment down below. Please like it and please subscribe to it. Don't leave this channel without subscribing if you like this video, because there are many, many, many more coming out like it. And I have whole folders of different topics that might interest you. Some are on apologetics and defending your faith. Some are on the deep questions of God. Some are on how to come closer to God. So check out the channel, snoop around, and let me know your thoughts. And if you have time and if you have a way, please support our ministry. We appreciate it because we want to reach many more people. God bless you. Please say a prayer for me, and I will be praying for all of you.